Welcome to day 41 of the Seeker's Guide to Soul Contact. The course consists of 365 lessons to bring you closer to soul and spirit. These are all recorded so you can review previous lessons if you desire. The theme for the day is I will focus my thoughts. We all know how a magnifying glass works. You can be out in the sun on a mildly warm day and use it to concentrate its rays, and in a few seconds you can start a fire applying it to dry leaves. Now imagine something that does the opposite. Instead of magnifying the light, it diminishes it. This special glass takes the sun's light, diffuses it, and spreads it over a large area so it appears as a dark shadow where little can be seen. This correlates to a problem experienced by many seekers. Instead of focusing on one or two important things that they can realistically accomplish, they use the shotgun approach, scatter their energies, and tackle a dozen different objectives that sound alluring. Unfortunately, this approach usually ends with little, if anything, being accomplished. The story of the tortoise and the hare also illustrates this principle. The tortoise is focused, moves slowly, but always onward toward the goal. The hare expends much more energy, but is unfocused and moves all over the place. As we know, the tortoise wins in the end, not because he was better or faster, but because he kept his eye on a single goal and moved toward it without any deviation. This concept of focus is a good principle to apply not only to goals in our everyday lives, but also toward the all-important objective of consistent soul contact. To obtain this objective, the seeker must concentrate a significant amount of energy, including his consciousness, toward paying attention to the spirit within. The outward world has many competing voices, fun things to do, and material goals that can distract from the inward focus of the seeker. We realize that a certain amount of attention needs to be paid to the outward world, but the successful seeker will learn to live in the world, but not of the world. After he gets the necessities of life mastered, he can place many of his duties on an automatic pilot so they can function with a minimal amount of attention. Some can never relax and do this, while others program their computer brains to take care of many activities so their real attention and focus can be on that which is more important. The most important lesson concerning focus that the seeker needs to absorb is that he must apply the general principle and direct energies within to maintain consistent soul contact. When he realizes this, then he, and of course she, has taken an important step to the inner contact. It is interesting to consider that not only will materialistic things in the outer world distract from the inner focus, but so can many spiritual sirens who call out for our attention. Many seekers are enamored by the various spiritual disciplines and teachers available to them, and they scatter their outward attention on a half a dozen or more. Even though the teachings may direct a student inward, they still come from without. And if the student is trying to master many at once, he will master none, as well as have his focus diffused. That is why many spiritual teachers insist that students focus on only one teacher. This is not because any teacher is infallible, but because they are indeed fallible, and generally two teachers will give the message in two different ways, even if they are saying essentially the same thing. Only the student with reliable soul contact can sift through many teachers and take the one truth out of the many. Even so, it's a good idea for all to focus on one major area of mastery and learning at a time. Your assignment today is to reflect on successes and failures in your life and see if you can associate a one-pointed focus with your successes and a lack of focus of having too many things competing for your attention with failure. The chances are is that you will see a correlation. Today we'll end with this affirmation. I will arrange my priorities so I can focus on the divine self within me. Good food for thought, and we will see you tomorrow.